I'm Dave Barber of Capital Television, coming to you today from the third floor of the Rhode Island State House, Smith Hill, Providence, Rhode Island, in a segment we simply call Capital Spotlight. We essentially shine the spotlight on one member of the General Assembly and discuss some of the things they've been working on and how it might impact you, the Rhode Island citizen. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to welcome back a gentleman who we've had the good fortune of interviewing before. It's great to have him back, the Honorable State Representative Jan Malik. Representative, it's good to see you again, sir.
Dave, it's an honor and privilege to be on your show today.
Now, it's especially good because we're able to pull you away from what's a very busy schedule. In addition to your duties on the House floor, you serve on the very, very busy House Finance Committee. And people that watch us with any degree of regularity know some of those meetings can go very long because you're dealing with something very important and something rather laborious, the state budget. Give our viewers a glimpse of how things have gone this year and how things are setting up for the budget.
Well, first of all, we're hoping it's going well. We've seen a lot of people testify on bills, tell us how they feel on bills, telling us about last year's budget, how we can make it better. You know, and then really the main key is May 9th, like we said, it's a Revenue Council to see what kind of income we have coming into the state of Rhode Island, and then we can start putting the budget together like making a pizza.
Now, listen, some of the people inside the Beltway that make their living in this building, I've overheard say that they believe the revenue projections are going to be favorable. They're going to be a little better than anticipated. Are you hearing the same thing?
I'm hearing the same thing, but also, Dave, I'm hoping that revenue that comes in, there's certain things that we cut last year that we can help out, especially the disabled, the handicapped. I'd like to see that get restored if by any chance our revenues are up. I hear one of the factions that are up is sales tax, and that's a good sign.
Well, yeah, because if that's true, that has to be a good sign that maybe the Rhode Island economy's ticking up.
Yeah, I hope so. But also with that sales tax, you're hoping that people are working. That's the catalyst that keeps the engine moving. Get people back to work. They'll spend the money in our state, we hope, and it'll just be better for all of us.
One of the things that I've talked to you before about was the proposal by the governor to raise the food and beverage tax in Rhode Island. You were, boy, I'll tell you, you pulled no punches. You were against that a long time ago, and just recently the speaker has indicated, and I'm paraphrasing now, that idea has hit the cutting room floor, that's not going to happen. That must make you happy.
It does. First, I'd like to commend Speaker Fox on that matter, because I'll tell you, it makes a big difference for the people in the East Bay, the people that own the restaurants, to be competitive with Massachusetts. That's key to running a business, to be competitive and putting out a good product, which they do.
Well, yeah, and you mentioned Massachusetts. I mean, being in a border community, that really gives a competitive advantage to a restaurant that doesn't have to charge the additional taxes, and somebody just going a few extra miles or a half mile or less can take advantage of a lower cost for a meal, and that's not fair to the Rhode Island businesses.
No, it's not, but also, it'd be like taking out my wife trying to pay a little extra. How about that person that's looking to maybe get their child married? You're going to look at it, you're going to go across the border to save that 3.5%.
Or somebody that's planning a convention or exactly. A corporate meeting.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't, like I said, that proposal right there, I don't know how much thinking went into it, but it wasn't a good proposal by the governor.
I know Dale Venturini and her Hospitality Association did a fine job lobbying on behalf of their members. And when you stop to think about it, Representative, the Rhode Island restaurants are a pretty good calling card for our state's tourism industry.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But like you said, with that aspect, the lobbyists up here that came out, they did a great job. They're the ones that are in the trenches every day. That's the key. They know what goes on, what affects their business. And they did a great job, and I'm glad to see Speaker Fox do the right thing.
Now, I know there's been a bill that you've been working on that's really specific to your community because you've had a problem with it in your area, and that's a problem with abandoned boats. And you have some legislation that's going to help deal with this problem. Tell our viewers about it.
Yeah, it's about abandoned boats. We had a problem this year with people leaving boats, and our little Kickamuit took the registrations off them. We didn't know who owned them, so it came the responsibility of the town of Warren to remove these boats. So this legislation here will start a fund to put money in case it happens to not just the town of Warren, Warren, any community in the state of Rhode Island could go off this fund and move these boats out.
And you got to move the boats because A, they're an eyesore. B, they have to be a potential threat to the environment. There's safety issues, so these boats have to be cleared out, but that can be costly too.
Oh, there's no doubt. It was costly to our community. It's something that we did not foresee, and that's the problem. You're going to find a way. I think it costs between $5,000 and $7,000 for the town of Warren. And you know, like you said, there's people out there. Times are tough. They have boats. They say, hey, look, this is the easy way to get rid of them. Let me take the registration off the side of them, sink the boat, which is bad for navigation, or put them, you know, cut the ropes and let them just float where they land. That's where, you know, whose responsibility is.
Representative Malik, thanks a million for talking to us. I know, again, you've been very busy with House Finance. We'll continue to watch the developments there on Capitol TV. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Dave, thank you.
And thanks to you, of course, for tuning in. For Capitol Television, I'm Dave Barber.